All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and the people of all ages, Shady Sports and Sports Wave proudly bring to you the NFL pregame report. We're talking all things about the NFL. Y'all know we give you a list of things we talk about, but at least once this show, we're gonna go off the rails and talk about something else. So you got to be here to see it, right? So this is your boy Cool McCain, a little bit more calm today. We're gonna be a little bit chill. It's getting cool outside, so we're gonna be a little bit more cooler inside today, right? At least for now. Can't make no long-term promises. But with me, I have my boy Coach Dante. Y'all know you see Coach Dante. That's the sports library. My man know the badminton rules, who winning, who losing, horseshoes, all that stuff. My man know everything.
Foosball tournaments.
You know what I'm saying? What up, Coach?
What up, y'all, man? No, another football Sunday. I'm ready to get it going.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And also we have our own Skip Bayless, Mr. Said Green. What up, Said?
What up? What up? I mean, the Broncos winning right now, so it ain't
They
really
are.
too much controversy to bring. You know what I'm saying? Hey, nah, what up, everyone? You know what I'm saying? Said Green,
Yeah.
303 bandwagon, your bus driver.
That man up here smiling today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
3-2. Hey, you got to smile at 3-2, right?
Hey, at this point in the season, we thought we
Yeah.
we thought we'd have two, but not the two we won, the three we won. So it's crazy. It's looking good.
I feel it. And TJ, what's going on, man?
It's the football Sunday, so it's a good day.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as you can tell, TJ's a Steelers fan. Steelers, tough loss. But you know what? It happens. There's no team up here that can say they haven't had a tough loss. You know?
Yeah, you gotta have that one though. You gotta have that one. They should not have lost that one, but we'll get into that later, I'm sure.
Ooh. Oh, fumble.
So Sid is going to apparently be giving us some slight updates on what's happening with the
turnover by the Jaguars.
Morning game. Sid's watching. Those diehard football fans, I respect it, but I looked at the game and I said, you know what, this is a morning I can kind of chill. Other stuff I need to take care of, and I can do those things and not feel bad because it's the Jaguars and the Bears.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the ratings are not as high as they were for other games, but it's still a game. So people don't care.
I mean, yeah, fantasy implications. There's some good score, some good points going on.
Yeah,
right now.
unless Etienne scores, it does nothing for me.
I don't know what he's done. Yeah, but
him. I think I might have Bigsby playing in one league just because
the Jaguars' offense is not looking the best right now. They got 3 points.
I mean, those two guys, and I feel like they was going to do it whether I was watching or not. So there we go. But guys, let's do a little different today. Anybody have an opening thought they'd like to give before we even get into everything?
Well, I mean, just watching this game, I mean, it is good to see Caleb Williams looking more comfortable in the pocket. Mm-hmm. Seeing him do things that he did at USC, he's starting to be able to implement those. So, I mean, I'm just carrying that over. I'm hoping to see, and we'll get into it and talk about it, but I'm hoping to see, that the Broncos are going to allow Bo Nix to open up and play from his college game as well. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
Well, I'm going to say this. Look like the Raiders and both Raiders and Panthers are in purgatory. The only difference, the Panthers are worse. They're worse a team. I mean, both of those teams, continues to make the same goddamn mistakes every single year. Continue to draft wrong. Continue to have bad organizations, bad management up and down. So that's why those teams would never be a threat pretty much in the NFL. And it seems like, AP, the team vouched for Antonio Pierce over there, and it seems like he's losing a little bit of that locker room. It seems like players out there making business decisions. If you got players out there making business decisions on the football field, and you come out immediately and say the guys admit yourself, the guys are making business decisions, then you may not have the respect you may not have the respect as in the locker room as you as everybody else say you have as they wanted you back. and the Panthers just continue to do wrong, just continue to make the bad decision. CJ Stroud clearly is the better quarterback. Is the better quarterback than Bryce. The quarterback than Bryce Young. Look cool laughing about that. Me, he straight up said that. And again, Andy Dalton is out there with the same talent, same receivers that he has, same offensive line, and the team can all of a sudden move up the football field. But other than that, the Panthers are just a bad organization. Overall, they're just a bad football team, just a bad organization. So those, two teams continue just to draft well. Tyree Wilson for the Raiders have not panned out at all. He has not panned out at all. And then the Wilkerson, the one guy that got paid from the Dolphins that big money, he gets hurt on a freak accident on a player just jumping on him by celebrating. So again, both of those teams are just in purgatory mode. And that's my thoughts for this morning.
I do. Hey, I want to say I saw something. I think it was yesterday, or the day before, what the Raiders came out. Devontae Adams might want to stay now that Aiden O'Connell is starting. I mean, I don't know if it'll change like their trajectory, but I feel like that's probably good for their future if he does want to hang around.
And that's another thing that they messed up on earlier during the season. He did want Aiden O'Connell to be the starting quarterback. Now Antonio Pierce messed up that situation.
Yeah, why do you have
Minshew in?
I don't get that. Why do you have Minshew in there? You're not planning to have Minshew as your franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? You just drafted Aiden O'Connell. So, yeah, that was weird all around.
That was weird. TJ, anything you want to throw out there? I know you got one thing at least is on your mind. It's got you a little sore today.
They had a good run, but now the truth is coming back out. The Browns are back. So no matter how bad the Steelers do, at least the Browns are the Browns again. They're stuck in Deshaun Watson hell. Salary cap wise, that really hurts them too. Who knows? I actually saw somebody share a meme about him saying since he's been with the Browns, he's settled 24 lawsuits and only has scored 19 touchdowns. So, that's at least going good for me.
Yo, so I'm trying to find something I want to talk about that's not one of our topics, right? So I'll say this. There's a lot of unexpected wins that we're getting this season, right? Broncos have a couple, right? A lot of teams. So are we starting to see, just a question, could be rhetorical, if anybody wants to answer, they can answer as well. Are we starting to see a little bit more parity in that some teams may be really good, but there's teams that always have your number? Like for instance, for the Philadelphia Eagles, if I see the Seattle Seahawks, I'm like, fudge. If I see the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I'm like, fudge. These are two teams that we don't seem to be able to beat, no matter how good or how bad they are. We lost to Seattle last year to their backup quarterback. And this is every team, right? Every team has at least one or two teams. It's just like, we just don't ever match up against this organization. It's something about this organization and how they do things that just doesn't work for our team. So I'm excited to see the upsets continue. It makes picking a lot harder, but it makes the games more fun. When you had the Giants go out and get a big win against the Seahawks, right, that nobody expected, and so many other games, it makes the game more exciting for casual fans and for those of us who watch, and also those of us who play fantasy that may have to play guys like Wan'Dale Robinson and Danny, we'll call him Nichols at least now, because of bye weeks. So, it's fun to see. Mm-hmm. I enjoy it, and hopefully it continues. And I will say this game over in England today, there shouldn't even be a favorite. It should be like even.
Yeah, but isn't that the point though? I mean, it's the NFL. Like, from a team standpoint, yeah, like we don't understand why it's like a parity and why, like certain you can't do that. But from the NFL standpoint, this is what they want, right? Like they want teams to be able to come in and upset other teams. Like all these players are getting paid millions of dollars or whatever it may be. All these franchises are worth what they're worth. And that's the goal for it. Like, I mean, I think for the longest we've seen some teams that seem like they couldn't win and now it seems like they're winning games, you know what I mean? But I think that's the goal every year from up top at the NFL is to have, those certain upsets happen and have that thing. So it's like, oh shoot, any given Sunday, you never know what's gonna happen. So you're always tuning in, even if your team is, if your team is 0-5 right now, you still expect something can happen, something can change. Right?
Yeah, unless it's America's real team or the NFL's real team, because you don't do that against the Chiefs.
Oh well, yeah.
Yeah, we come here
Now,
looking for the
yeah, it
Chiefs.
used to be the Patriots, right? Now it's the Chiefs.
Yeah, don't do
Like,
that.
who will it be next though? What, the Texans?
It depends on how long it takes the Chiefs to not be the team. That depends on
Mm,
who it is next,
mm.
right? Because
Okay, like that Jordan LeBron effect.
they normally ride with the same guy throughout. So it'll depend on who's still here once Patty Mayo is done with his thing. What's up, Key? Thank you for watching, tuning in with your peoples. We appreciate it. And if you ever had opportunity, there's another spot up here. Just saying. Just saying. All right, fellas.
Ooh.
Time to roll into our first topic. So, Robert Saleh, head coach, New York Jets, no longer. So, first head coach domino has fallen, and that's Robert Saleh. So, 2-in-1 question for everyone. Your thoughts on Robert Saleh, and should he have been fired? And your why not? And also, now that that's happened, who's next? Because the door has been open, right? Whether you agree or disagree, the door has been open. Nobody likes to be the first team to fire their coach, right? You're not anymore. The Jets took care of that for you. So
Yeah.
who's next? So, Sid, I feel like you are chomping at the bit. So why don't you go ahead and give us some of the good Skip Bayless thoughts on this, sir?
Well, I mean, I thought it was funny that how the reports came out. I mean, at least how I saw him, it came out that he was fired, and then it came out that he was thinking about firing Nathaniel Hackett. Like he was like thinking like, oh well, if I would have fired him, I wouldn't have gotten fired. But either way, and then it comes out that he was escorted out by security. So it sounds like they were ready to get rid of him. They were trying to, they were looking to see what was going to happen this season. I mean, he had an amazing defense over there in the Jets, and we thought they missed the playoffs because they didn't have a quarterback last season, but then they get Aaron Rodgers, and I saw something, he had like the same record as Zach Wilson, so it wasn't much difference, and I feel like the defense kind of regressed this season. They weren't as stout as they were the season before. It's Robert Saleh. Somebody's going to pick him up, throw him as their DC, and he's going to change that defense around. So it's probably better in that situation anyway. But like, I don't know. He just kind of got, out machoed, I guess you could say, right? Once Aaron Rodgers came back, it was like, oh, damn, like you can't do your job. So I don't want to say I saw the writing on the wall, but we did talk about this on Fantasy Reports, I want to say 2, maybe 3 weeks ago, as him being one of the guys ready to go. And then, there was that report that came out about the friction with him and Aaron Rodgers, and it wasn't friction. So I feel like as soon as something like that comes out, there's something going on, and, they're not about to fire Aaron Rodgers. They brought him in there. But to keep it going, as far as like other coaches, Antonio Pierce, as we were talking about earlier, I feel like he's one of those guys. Just because the Raiders are gonna Raider, instead of maybe trying to see it through or get it right or build it up, they're gonna all these they're gonna hire someone. It's what have you done for me now, league. So you try to get someone in there to get it, and magically they'll get it right. I feel like Doug Peterson over in Jacksonville, that's one. I feel like we kind of talked about that on here, especially depending on seeing how this game goes. Like you said, this game is probably a battle of attrition, right? Like, and this is their second home, right? The London Jaguars, and they're over here getting dusted by Caleb Williams, the first Chicago rookie quarterback with 3 passing touchdowns. He's over here running, for 20-yard gains, joking dudes right there at the end zone. So, I think this might be his Doug Peterson's last hurrah, quite honestly, and maybe not just because they're overseas, but I could foresee something coming out this week, depending on how this game goes. And they're sitting at 3 points right now, with 11 minutes left in the third quarter. And then Mike McCarthy over there in Dallas, right? Like, I mean, we all had high hopes for Dallas over there, right? Like, well, none of us had high hopes for Dallas, but I mean, Dallas had high hopes for Dallas. Looking at the division they're in, they felt like they've been in it right there with the Eagles, right? They felt like they should be there. I don't even know the last time they won a playoff game, but that hasn't changed. No matter the squad they got, they had squabbles with their quarterback in the offseason. You know what I mean? Like, they got a squad over there, and I feel like given on any other team, like, those guys would probably have a really good record right now. It's just they have a lot of unnecessary controversy, and it starts with Jerry Jones, right? But he's not going to fire himself, so I feel like Mike McCarthy is probably on the outs. Depending on how they do these next couple weeks, maybe not during the season. Just because of their Dallas pride, but definitely see somebody going if they don't make it past the first round of the playoffs this year. So yeah, those are my guys: Mike McCarthy, Doug Peterson, and Antonio Pierce.
All right, Coach Dante, let's go with you.
Well, anytime, as a diehard Houston Texans fan, anytime the Jazz get their behind kicked, I'm happy about that. I'm very happy about that, especially overhyped Trevor Lawrence. So yeah. But other than that, my guy, is New Orleans Saints head coach Dennis Allen. I think he's on the hot seat. If he doesn't, if that team doesn't find a way, but it don't look like it's going to get any better anytime soon. It wasn't like he was playing well before he got hurt. But you got Spencer Rattler. You have to throw in the fire because of Derek Carr is hurt and stuff like that. So he may be on the hot seat. And like I say, I would throw out Nick Sirianni for the Eagles, but I think I think the Eagles will end up making it. But other than that, those are actually the coaches. Those are actually the coaches that I would say that probably will be on the hot seat if things don't get together. I think Doug Peterson, if they would find a way to lose that Colts game last week, I think he probably been fired. But the Robert Saleh situation, I seen why they fired him. The Jets fan base wasn't too happy about him. It just seemed like he had too many odds. But one thing I said last week, I believe, now that I thought it was real disrespectful, and Robert Saleh is a good man. You can tell he's a good guy. Why would you have to hire security just to get the man up out the building like he was a threat?
Yeah, why would they put that out? Like, what do you do it, and why do you put it out?
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I was him, I probably would have went to jail that day. You gave him a reason too. Just for the disrespect, right there. But there was a lot of things going on with that team. They couldn't run the ball. Offensive line wasn't good. Aaron Rodgers looks like he's 40 out there. His arm looked like he shot out there. The defense is still a top tier defense. The only thing about it, if your offense is three and out, eventually that defense is gonna get tired. No running game. They just had no lack of running game. Breece Hall ain't the same no more since he been hurt. The receivers can't. Alan Lazard, who came over with Aaron Rodgers, can't catch the football.
He looked just as old as Aaron Rodgers.
It's a lot of things going on outside of Robert Saleh. But one thing you could say about Robert Saleh, that defense came to play every single game. It's just when your offense is always getting three and out, the defense is gonna eventually get tired and rattle down. And they're in close games. They're right there. And the thing with Hackett, yes, that's Aaron Rodgers' boy. We seen what he did over there in Denver. This man literally had to hire a personnel coach to help him manage timeouts, help him actually manage a timeout over there in Denver. That's how you knew he couldn't be a head coach with the squad over there. And the play calling is just horrific on the offensive side of the ball. So it's a lot of things went on outside of Robert Saleh. I would have gave him probably the full year. And then if you want to excessive, you could fire him. But it is what it is. He had too many odds against me. He had the fan base. Plus, you had Aaron Rodgers against him that wasn't a fan of him. He's a big fan of Nathaniel Hackett. He had that going on. So he had just too many people He had just too many people that couldn't stand it. But yeah, if I was Robert Saleh, yeah, I would have probably went to jail on that day for that because that made it seem like that man a threat. I thought that was uncalled for. You didn't need security to get the man out. You didn't need that.
TJ?
I kind of feel like Robert Saleh, he was unceremoniously let go. You know, you look at the records and the standings, they're one game out of first place. You know, I mean, it just, and I mean, in my opinion, if anything, if he was going to get fired, it was going to be during last season or at the end of the season with everything that went on, you know, with Aaron Rodgers' injury. But to do it this season when there actually is a lot of hope and promise, I mean, it just seemed weird to me. Then, you know, again, as it's already been mentioned, reports came out that he was walked out with security. He wasn't given the option to say goodbye to his staff or players. He was just straight out the door. That sounds like there was some kind of weird little vendetta or something for some reason. I mean, that just sounds way intense. Never heard that kind of disrespect happen, especially at the NFL level before. So if I was Robert Saleh, I saw his very nice statement afterwards. He's a better person than me because I would have blasted the Jets, you know, in my
I
opinion.
would have too. Yeah, I would have went out. They would have had to take me out. Security would have really had to take me out. Yeah,
I'm going to coach for the Bills if I'm him, and I'm smashing them every season.
Yeah. But for you know, for coaches that I think are also on the hot seat, Doug Peterson is the main one that comes to my mind. The only reason that it probably won't happen for at least a couple of weeks is because they play in London again next week. And then they also have a later bye week. So if they're going to try to play the let them go around the bye week game, they have to wait till week 12. So I think that might buy him some time, bonus time, if you will, to maybe right the ship or at least start to look better to make it a harder decision. But I think he's going to probably be the first one or the next one on the chopping block. Another one, I think it's a little low key. People forget about him, but Kevin Stefanski for the Browns. You know, with the way things are looking, you know, they have Deshaun Watson. What's going on with that? They don't have the right quarterback, and you know, it's a story of what have you done for me lately, and it's been back, you know, to losing ways in Cleveland.
Yeah. As far as Saleh goes, I definitely agree. I know a lot of coaches may get escorted out by security when they leave the facilities. But what happens oftentimes, from what I've heard as well, is sometimes you make a decision, right, and the key card doesn't work. So you go up to the door, you press your badge doesn't work.
You can't even
so
go
then
in.
The security comes and gets you to take you to get your stuff, and then takes you out. But it seems like in this situation, he was in the building when it happened. You know,
he got hype on him.
And Robert Saleh doesn't even look like the type of guy. Like, you can look at this guy's eyes. He doesn't even look like the type of guy that would be a problem. He looks like the type of guy that just say, "Hey, can I just thank my coaches for being on the staff and stuff, and then I'll get out of here." No, you're leaving, right?
He was like, "You need to get Nathaniel Hackett. You need to get Aaron Rodgers out." He started naming fools. They're like, "You gotta, buddy. Sorry, sir."
Yeah, he didn't even look like that guy, right? And that's what's crazy, man. And Jets, you're not a good job. You suck as an organization. So you're sitting here disrespecting people who give you a chance, right? And it's always guys who haven't been a head coach before, because anyone that has head coaching experience knows going there is a cesspool of destruction that you will not last in the NFL. So congratulations for making more people be like, you guys suck. And the only person, again, you're going to get to coach this team is a coordinator that doesn't have another opportunity and at least wants to get coaching experience on their resume.
Eric
You guys
Bieniemy.
are Bush League. Well, they're not going to do Eric Bieniemy because he's an aggressive coach, and they scared of Robert Saleh. So you're not going to bring up Eric Bieniemy. You know what I'm saying?
We got to go a little lighter next time.
They go. How about this? They're going to have to Triple H it next time.
They got to get the PC principle out there. Well, who do you think is going to be the next coach of the Jets?
I don't want to wish that punishment on anyone.
Yeah, I would say like some offensive coordinator of a team that you don't expect to be good that ends up having a really good offense is going to say, you know what, this is an opportunity. I know it ain't gonna last but a couple of years, but this is at least an opportunity for me to, you know, put coaching on my resume. Now, if they ask
So
me
see
where,
what
I'm
it
gonna just
is.
say, look, I'm gonna say if they ask me where, I'm gonna just say a team in the NFL in the area. Do I
You
have to
can't
name a
call them.
specific team?
You can't speak with them though.
I can give you a direct line to them, but I don't really want to say the name of the actual organization. But I was a head
Oh
coach.
man.
Yeah.
That's how I
Shane
feel about them. I mean, it's gonna have to be. It's gonna be an offensive coach, I think,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be a coordinator because I don't see any
I,
actual guy that's been a head coach before going there.
What
I
about like
think
a former head? Oh my bad. Go
I
ahead.
gotta there's two candidates that could be head coaches that's very good offensive coordinators. You got Detroit Lions Ben Johnson
Mm,
over there, and you got Mike Kafka as well. Two
Mike Kafka.
no, two offensive coordinators over there. So
mhm.
look out for those two look out for those two this coming season. The Jets may be interested. I think they do need more of a offensive minded head coach over there. Nathaniel Hackett. I mean, you can say he's a coordinator, but he not looking. He not good. He not too good. His play calling is just unacceptable play calling. But then you got Alan Lazard, who hasn't done nothing since Green Bay but drop the football and get paid, but just drop the football and just get paid. So those are two offensive coordinators, like Cool said, that could easily be head coaches over there. And I think that will kind of help open up that Jets offense a little bit more.
I feel like Aaron Rodgers just riding with Alan Lazard because he couldn't get Devontae, so he trying to make it seem like he all about, you know what I mean? So he had to get somebody to ride with him, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But yeah, like
he got to feel comfortable while he's there. He's got to feel like
it's
there's
weird.
someone
Yeah,
to
you
do.
got Garrett
He
Wilson. You
needs someone
got
to do
one.
shrooms with.
Yep. Someone. No, he needs someone that's okay with him doing shrooms. That's okay with, you know what I mean? Nah.
I mean, you're not necessarily wrong. And I mean, y'all have talked about most of the coaches who would definitely be candidates to go. I would say Philadelphia Eagles. Please listen to Coach Dante and us and the fan base. Please, please,
He's probably like a
please,
season too late, right?
please,
Yeah.
please. I mean,
Who would
you don't
the,
even have to.
who
You don't even have to be the first one no more. It's already done. The cherry's already
No,
popped.
who
All
would
you
you
got
want
to
them to
do is
bring
just
in
do it.
though? Who would you want them
You
to
could
bring in
bring in a
though?
monkey and just have him throw poop at the wall and let the coordinators do their job and we be good. The problem I have with Sirianni, seriously, is you meddle and you don't know what you're doing, right? If you're not a great play caller, you can be a great head coach. But that's because you leave that decisions to the coordinators and you just do
Mhm.
your thing. You hype people up, you rah-rah, you get the speeches, you wear the cute t-shirts with your little tight pants and stuff, and you do that, right? But when it comes time for the big boys to call plays, you go over there with Big Dom and y'all hang out and chill and you complain to the refs and do that thing. Stop interfering in the offensive play calling. Offensive play calling has to be set up. You start the game, you do certain formations, you run certain things out of those formations so that when the defense sees that later, they're expecting something similar and you can do something different. But when you're getting to certain plays and you got to do say, no, 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 go for it on fourth, even if you're not technically calling the play, which he has said the fourth down plays are him. He calls them and he makes those decisions. So you're at least meddling in a part of the offense. And those are a lot of times where we're complaining that the Eagles are not getting points. That's because Nick Sirianni is saying, no, let's not take the points, which makes sense. Let's try to get a touchdown, even though the offense is disjointed and we only got one or none of our starting wide receivers. It doesn't matter. We're going to go for it. And that's losing games because it's not how you play football. I think everybody here would agree. You're in the red zone, you're in fourth down. If it's not like 4th and 1 or 4th and 2, or you're not going to use the tush push, aka brotherly shove from 3 yards or less, kick the field goal. Get the points. If we can get him out and get anybody in who will leave the offense and defense alone, I'd be happy. It could be a dog that the players just rub before the game. I'd be happy because he ain't gonna meddle in the offensive play call. I'm just That's my answer. That's a rude answer, but that's an honest answer. But I'm sorry, man. That's just me. And I mean, there's a couple other guys that we could look at and say, and y'all said most of them anyway, that would be, in that thing. But we got to switch topics here. So, guys, I don't know if you're aware, but there's a gentleman. I'm not going to call names on here because I don't like to make those people famous who may or may not be telling the truth. But there's a gentleman here who has insinuated that he was drugged and that Stephon Diggs was attempting to have relations.
Oh, I saw this. And
Yeah.
that's why I got jumped.
And then his brother jumped him. Part of why Stephon Diggs' other brother, not the one that's in the league, but the other brother, jumped him was to keep him quiet about the situation. Now, I looked into this because I've had a little bit of free time, right? Had some car troubles, have been sitting at the car place, so I had a little free time. So I was looking, and apparently when Stephon Diggs first got in the league, these dudes were hanging out, going on trips together, making little videos on Instagram and Facebook Live and stuff together. So all I'm going to say on that particular part is if you're doing these things with someone, right, and you're allowing certain activities and okaying certain activities, right, and then later on you get mad with the same activities that you've been allowing to happen in the past, that's a little whack, right? Also with Stephon Diggs, we have the reports that he was having also relations with 8-month pregnant Cardi B, who was married.
Was that at the same time?
I don't know if it was at the same time, but we're getting both of those pieces of information. My bad, TJ, hit the wrong button there. My bad.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, my thoughts is simply this. Stephon Diggs, you're a wild dude. But I'm gonna say the same thing I said about Deshaun Watson beforehand. Until anything's proven, I'm not gonna say, oh, he did it. But you start to get these controversies. You're like, well, what's going on? And normally, where there's some smoke, there's some fire, like it was with Deshaun Watson, right? Is this what Stephon Diggs needs to be the best player that we can get from Stephon Diggs? And if so, shouldn't Houston help him? Maybe find somebody to get right. If that's what it takes.
Houston, like, dang, man, we just got away from all that.
Houston, like, well, as long as it's consensual. Coach, you the Texas guy, man. What are your thoughts on these things coming out about Stephon Diggs? I know you don't talk too much about off the field, but this your player, so I know you might have a thought or two.
Like, as long as he perform on the field, that's all I care about. Off the field, we'll Texans will figure that out the same way they figured out Deshaun Watson. And look how he's playing over there in Cleveland. So again, Texans will figure that out. But if it's going to help him perform on the field like he did against Buffalo, then yeah, that's all I can worry about.
I feel it. Sid, what do you think, man?
I don't even know. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. He can live his life, right? Like Coach said, ain't really one way or another. If everything consensual and shit, he gotta do something with all that money.
Facts. TJ, what do you think, man?
Same thing I do about every other famous celebrity, anything. It's their business. As long as it's not deemed illegal, I really don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it. I really wanted to bring it up just because you're starting to hear a lot of stuff breaking weird times about these athletes, right? Like, we're gonna get 3 or 4 weird stories about some NBA players. We're gonna get something else about NFL players. And I always question timing, right? Why do you wait until the middle of the NFL season to start putting out the stuff about what they're doing off the field? Right?
Well,
you had all season.
Bills paid them off.
Well, in Cleveland case, right? You wanna have a reason to drop Deshaun without being tied to that contract, right? So
Oh, well, Deshaun is being a perfect citizen, and that's why he's not playing well.
Yeah, and also he had some stuff on the field as well. He had some
Yeah.
stuff on the field that nobody really knew about. He asked for a trade, he wanted out and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
it was gonna get out there on the field as well. So we did what we had to do, and it completely worked because we got that bad guy C.J. Stroud to replace him over there. So at the end of the day, it ended up working. And Cleveland regretted that contract. So again, the draft picks that we got, hey, turned into Will Anderson, Tank Dell, C.J. Stroud. So we got, hey, we winning. You can say we winning the deal. We won. We winning the deal right now. You can say we winning that by a long slot. So most of his stuff is what's on the field too. But whether it's off the field, Watson has some stuff on the field that during that offseason he has to. He wanted to pick the GM, and the Texans went with Nick Caserio, that was very proven to be a very good hire. So Deshaun Watson asked out, and right now Stephon Diggs is making an impact on this team. So I mean, he hasn't came out. It has not been no locker room council with no Stephon Diggs. It has not been no locker room issue with Stephon Diggs.
And as long as you're not, this is a locker room. I agree. Let players do what they do. But my thing too is, it's really dirty, right? It's a whole level of dirty, whether it's true or not, to wait until the middle of somebody's season and then start coming out with these things. You can hit them with these things the season before, you can hit them after the season, but to hit them in the middle of the season when they're trying to play, and then you got to answer questions about this. That takes away from you. And then, there's times where, these reporters now are very unscrupulous, right? They gonna go to one of his teammates. Hey, how do you feel about Stephon drugging a guy? Like, what does that matter? How I feel about him drugging a guy? I don't have to like Stephon Diggs the person. I just gotta like what Stephon Diggs does on the football field. And I think that's what gets blurred with this stuff coming out, and then the players having to deal with it, and the questions and things like that. So to me, it's a little bush league that it happens, but of course, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen with somebody else. Might be this week, but it just disappoints me that they have to deal with this throughout their season. And we're talking about 3-month season, so we're not talking about. I mean, like you talking about baseball, you really got to say something happened during the season because the season's all year. But come on, just my personal thoughts.
Talking about practice.
But early, so we had 4 teams who had buys in week 5. So I was about to say 5 teams who had buys in week 4. So 4 teams who had buys in week 5. So for these individual teams, and we'll go through each one, do you think the buy will help or hurt the team? So I have that pulled up. I know the Chargers were one of the teams that had a buy. So the early buy for the Chargers, do you think that will be helpful for the Chargers team, hurtful for them, or it won't make a difference? I'll start, and then I'll go TJ, and we'll swing around. I'm going to say it's a little helpful because there's new coach implementing the system, trying to get things together. They have running backs, but they have guys that can always use a week off early because they don't have the best track record of being healthy for a full season. And working on their wide receivers, because their wide receiver production has not been impressive at all this year. So I think the bye came in a good time for the Chargers team to kind of try to work on some of those things, especially in a division where it looks like right now the Broncos are going to be competing for a playoff spot, as well as, you got the NFL's team that's competing for a playoff spot. And I know I always say they have 3 extra players for the Chiefs, and there's actually 5 referees, but you don't have to pay all 5 of them. As long as you pay 3, the line judge, the back judge, and the actual umpire, as long as you pay those 3, you're good because they can overrule the other 2. So that's why I say 3. They're not paying everybody because then that would be too obvious. But so I think it was good for the Chargers to end up having the early bye because of those reasons. TJ, what do you think?
I also think it was good for him, mainly because of Justin Herbert and how he's been iffy with his nagging injury. I guarantee, like you touched on also, Coach Harbaugh first season, guaranteed the entire bye week that guy was in his, football laboratory going through, figuring out what's been working, what isn't. You might see, a quote unquote new look Chargers, depending on how far he went. But I think it was definitely good for them since, again, it is going to be a really tough, not just AFC conference, but also division to get into the playoffs as well this year.
Say it.
Chargers suck. Nah. I saw a video was Harbaugh out there catching passes from Herbert. Buddy out there coaching them straight like he was coaching out in Michigan. And I mean, Harbaugh is a team builder. So I do foresee them in the future getting it together, just not right now. I mean, Lad McConkey is their number one receiver right now, if I'm not mistaken. It's between him and Quentin Johnson. But I mean, Joey Bosa is still questionable. It did help them having a bye week, but I mean, they have, their injury list is long, man. And I see them trying to go off that running game. Gus Edwards is out. I don't think they're gonna have the success they thought they're gonna have in the run in today, especially. I mean, Broncos are like top 5 against the rush right now. So that defense is pretty legitimate. It's not, you know what I mean. So I don't know. Maybe I see them clicking in maybe later down the season, but unless they get some guys back from injury, get guys fully healthy. What up?
The question was the bye week, was this a good week for them to have a bye?
Oh yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, my bad. Then no, I guess it was, but it didn't help them. I guess. My bad.
We're gonna get to that. You gonna have your chance to.
That's fine, man. We'll get to it. Sure, we'll get to it.
Coach.
Well, no, it was not helpful for them.
I'm gonna say it was helpful because Justin Herbert injuries, need to get some time to get that healed up, and whoever has injuries, I think this is a perfect time, especially early in the year, to recover, get the injury, get your bodies straight, and it gives time for Harbaugh to game plan more, get ready for his next game. And that also depends on when do you have the bye. I believe they was on a 2-game losing streak as well, so I know they're happy to pretty much have that bye week and make some adjustments, whatever they need to make for their next upcoming game.
I got you. So Jay's gaming spots in the building. He says awesome with the fire emojis. What up, Jay? All right. So next team on the bye list, we'll go to Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions 3-1 going into the bye. Do we think it was a good time for the Lions? And let's do the same thing this time. I thought it worked out well. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say Detroit was clicking, and them having a bye later in the season probably would have been better for them. I mean, you can't control when your bye happens, right? But I think a later bye for a team that was already clicking at 3-1 would have been better off because it'd give them a chance to rest. Maybe they started to get into the part of the season where you always inevitably lose a few games. Some people already have that, but so I think it may not have been the best time for them to have their bye. I think around like week 7, week 8 would have been better for this team the way that they've been playing so far. TJ, what?
I'm gonna say I don't think it makes a difference. Obviously every team that has this early of a bye week, would want one closer to the middle of the season. But, with Campbell there and this team, being really the same core for the most part with just better additions over the last couple seasons now, I don't think they have anything to worry about. They were clicking beforehand. They had an early break. Now they're going to come back and they're just going to roll again.
Fair enough.
I think it was good for them. They had a chance. They re-signed Montgomery. They gave him an extension. They were able to get that done over the bye week, it looks like. And plus, I mean, yeah, they are clicking right now, but also they are not clicking right now. I think they need to find more ways to get Laporta more involved, get that offense clicking a little better. I mean, yeah, Williamson is going off, but I don't know. Yeah, whatever, my thoughts. I just think it was good for them to sit back and say, okay, well, look where we are. Let's see what we can do, and let's keep it moving. So I feel like it was good for them.
I would say it's a good bye week for them. I mean, like I said, then it depends on the timing, how well you're actually playing, and it is a point. When you're playing well, you want to continue to play football. But Detroit is they have I say that TJ said they have that motivator of a head coach and Dan Campbell. Their offense is really well. They just signed Montgomery, so I think it's a solid timing. Especially, it's also a solid time when you have injuries. When you have injuries as well. So, I mean, yeah, I think this is a solid time for them to have a bye week. They will probably be the same team that will come back out the bye and start winning games.
Fair enough. All right, and then the Titans. I actually think this was a perfect week for the Titans, right? Because they finally figured out that they need to put somebody else in at quarterback. So to give him a chance to get more acclimated with the offense now, and hopefully he should be starting, right? Because your boy is not good. And I've been saying that, like, he never was a guy. And when you can have a career backup come in and basically take your job and make your team look so much better, that's even more of an indictment when you're looking at a guy like the number one pick last year, right? Because at least a guy that has had success in the NFL came and took his job. You let a backup come take your job. So for Tennessee, I think it worked out well. He gets a chance to work with the ones, get the offense down. You should be moving forward with him. So I think it ended up working out to be a really good week for Tennessee to have a bye. Let's switch it up and go the other way. Coach Dante, what do you think?
I agree. I think this is a perfect time for Tennessee. Just coming off a win versus the Dolphins too. Got some momentum right there. You have to figure out your quarterback situation as well. With if you want to start, keep Mason Rudolph in now or go back with Will Levis. Pills when you put Mason Rudolph in there, they all of a sudden Tony Pollard just start running the football. I mean, he hasn't done nothing the last 3 weeks prior to playing the Dolphins. He all of a sudden the running game started working. He's not the best of passing the ball, but he does do a very good job, Mason Rudolph, of not turning the ball over, not putting the ball in harm's way. Well, you got the other quarterback, Will Levis, who comes right up out of the gate. First possession of the game, just threw the ball right to the defender, just threw the ball to the green Dolphin jersey. So yeah, this is a perfect timing, especially for a first year head coach, offensive head coach, quarterbacks coach, and Canahan. I think this is the perfect time to get their bye week, They needed it.
Fair enough said.
Yeah. So I mean, it looks like it was good for him. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, Will Levis will be starting. Everything I'm seeing Mason Rudolph will be going back to the backup role, but they won't have Jamal Adams. Tony Pollard I like Tony Pollard, man. So I think the Titans have the second best running back duo behind the Lions right now, and I could be wrong, but I kind of like what they're doing over there with him and Spears. So I think this was really good for them. And I mean, yeah, Will Levis isn't the best, but I think if they could focus more on that running game and keep it going, they can kind of build it up and find way until they get a solid quarterback. Because I mean, Mason Rudolph isn't necessarily it either, so he just happens to be a better veteran option. But yeah, no, I felt it was a good week.
That's true. For them. Sometimes you gotta go with the young guy because you gotta you gotta
see what you have. Yeah, exactly.
Bad,
you can move on.
I think it was good just because of the reason we're all saying, with them finally having a little bit of an open quarterback controversy. Mason Rudolph, in my opinion, made the team look better. He got the win. I would have used this bye week if I was in the Titans organization to basically ready him and basically get him into that starting role mojo. But so I think it was really good timing for an early bye week for
him. So the other team that had a bye, the Philadelphia Eagles. TJ, I'm not even gonna go first. I'm gonna go last. TJ, do you think this was a good week for them to have a bye?
I'm going to say yeah, just because they need to get things figured out. They're still looking like they're missing a cylinder or two. Just some drives, some halves and quarters of games, they look like they figured it out, and then they just flatline for, the rest of the game or the rest of the half. You know, Jalen Hurts, people are starting to wonder, man, is he worth big money, or, is he kind of, a fluke a little bit in terms of superstar status? So I would say it was good, just because anything that can help them kind of stop, take a breath, and figure out a better way to do it is good for them. Especially with, the emergence of the Commanders right now, looking like they're going to possibly run away with the division, believe it or not.
Say it.
I think it helped them, man. I mean, all season I've been screaming they don't have any receivers, right? Once their receivers went down, now they get their squad back, right? So now you got your Batman, your Robin, or Batman, Spider-Man, whatever you want to call them. You got those guys back with D God over there. So I'm expecting to see some fight. And then you're going up against the Browns, right? Like, they're going to have a lot of opportunities today. So I feel like this did help them on offense get better. On defense, I don't know, like they so I'm seeing my boy Cooper DeJean's going to be starting. I got him in my dynasty league, so I'm expecting him to pick up some experience this season and come out and be one of my defensive back like next season. But yeah, I think it did help them because they got pieces back that they needed back. And you could see, maybe Jalen Hurts isn't that, maybe he isn't that all-star quarterback without his all-star squad, so right now. So I think it'll be good for them, or it was good for them, and we'll see a bit of fireworks from them today.
Coach.
Well, I absolutely think this is the perfect timing for the Eagles. I mean, you look at how they played on the football field; they looked like they needed a bye. I mean, the Kobe Dean missed 5 tackles. How you miss 5 tackles alone? That's just the Kobe Dean got to be better. The coaching got to be better. Nick Sirianni got to be better. Vic Fangio got to be better, or stop playing so much goddamn off coverage all the time. Where Baker Mayfield was just playing 7-on-7 football, just throwing the ball, and receivers were catching it. Maddox missing tackles out there. It's like guys are not even trying to hit, not even trying to tackle nobody. They're just running back. They're just running away from tackling. And, of course, when you're missing A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, you got Todd Bowles, who's a great defensive coordinator. He blitzed Jalen Hurts half of the game. So now Buccaneers are playing one-on-one coverage because the receivers is no threat at all when you don't have A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith out there. So they're not scared of the receivers as much. Then you wait till the second half just to give Saquon Barkley a carry, just to give him some carries. You waited probably a little bit too late just for to start running the ball. Instead of the first half, you could have got that going, so it can take a lot of pressure, so it can get all of them guys from Tampa Bay up out of the box. But you waited too long to get that going. Just Baker Mayfield looked way too uncomfortable. He looked like he was a Hall of Famer out there. But this was a perfect timing. And again, Nick Sirianni was saying, "Hey, we need to make some adjustments. We need to make some changes. Well, there better be some changes better be made coming out this bye week, and especially playing the Cleveland Browns this week." I said some numbers to Key, so I'm gonna say it on here. You got 6, 7, and 8, and who those teams were? You think the Giants got 8 sacks on Deshaun Watson? You think their defensive line is better than the Eagles? I don't think their defensive line is better than the Eagles. The Commanders had 7 sacks. The Commanders had 7 sacks on Deshaun Watson. Is that defensive line better than the Eagles? No, it's not. Then you had Dallas Cowboys had 6 sacks on Deshaun Watson. So he's a easy sack, and this defensive line got to get it. Start with them too. They got to get pressure because they have not gotten any pressure on the quarterback. You got Huff just out there stealing money at this point. He got to be put in better situations where he can get to the quarterback, as well. So it's overall the whole team, but the coaching's got to do a better job, man. And the Kobe Dean, he got to do a better job himself. You can't miss 5 tackles in the game. That's just ridiculous. So I think this is a perfect time to get a bye, especially playing a Cleveland team that Deshaun Watson is this close of getting on the bench. Really, really good. So
He don't even want to play.
So it's no reason for the Eagles to come out and let in and just let Deshaun Watson make it seem like he's an all-world quarterback. But the Eagles will get that fixed. They should be able to get that fixed this coming week. This should be a motivation game for them.
So, heck yeah. Let's come to the bye week. Nick Sirianni, STFU. I don't want to hear no more talk from you. I want to see some action. All we didn't hear the whole time you be here is a bunch of phrases. Coach. And the way that you need to coach is that your coordinators do their job. So the bye week came at perfect time so that you can step back. How about you stop involving yourself with the offense and defense, and you just be what a head coach is supposed to be, and you manage both sides of the ball. That's what we need. Hopefully that's something that's happened in the bye week. Hopefully Kellen Moore has become more assertive in the bye week and say, look, man, you're doing this. This is hurting us. We need to start doing this.
Why did they bring in Kellen Moore?
That's who they wanted. That's who they wanted. That was their pick. They did it early in the process. This was their guy. So if you bring him in, let him do his job. If you're not going to let him do his job, fire him and get someone to do his job. That's my problem. But the bye came perfectly, as was talked about injuries. Johnny Wilson's back from concussion protocol. Lane Johnson's back from concussion protocol. Devontae Smith is back from concussion protocol. A.J. Brown is back from the hamstring. Reed Blankenship is no longer on the injured list, right? Cooper DeJean now has had some time to learn the position. He's going to be the starting nickel.
He saw Riley Moss. He was like, "Oh, I'm about to get me one of them INTs, man."
Sidney Brown, Anaya Smith will be activated. They didn't get activated for this game. They're in their 21-day window. So this is the first 7 days of their 21-day window to return. So we'll be getting Sidney Brown and Anaya Smith back. Smith brings explosiveness at the wide receiver position, and he's a guy you can run in the rounds, fast guy, supposedly a good player in game. Didn't have the best rookie off season, right? But sometimes it takes guys a little bit of time. But I think he can bring some things to the team. Paris Campbell will be the 5th wide receiver today. Then he was a starter last week. That's how things have changed. The biggest reason why I think we needed the off season right where it hit this bye week is so Jalen can get comfortable with Campbell, Jahan Dotson, because he's just not comfortable with those guys. And there's a lot of talk about Jalen Hurts, but I want to throw out one important thing. He's only had the same coordinator back-to-back years once. And that was Shane Steichen. Year 2, we went to the Super Bowl, right? So this is a guy that has to learn systems. He's 4 weeks into learning another new system because his coaching staff can't do a good enough job of not only having guys that can do it right now, but there's a long-term chess play to being a general manager, head coach. You start bringing in guys that can step into positions, right? So the problem is when we lost Shane Steichen, there should have been someone on the staff that could continue a similar play calling style, put their own spin on it, and step in and allow the quarterback to be in a similar system so he can develop more in the same system for year 3, year 4, year 5. That's what happens with successful quarterbacks. What we've been doing is every year he gets a new coordinator because the coordinator that comes in sucks for some reason. Last year, I think it was the playbook that he had to use more so than the person. But again, another new system. So it takes time for a quarterback to learn players and a new system at the same time. And the reason why you see a lot of guys be successful, even when the coordinator leaves, is there's another guy that comes in that does something similar. You don't ask a guy to come in and play a completely different style of football. Excuse me, I'm thinking of WNBA, of football every year and still be successful. It takes time. You have to learn the system. So he's not nowhere looked as good as he did that 1 year, and everyone wants to say, "Oh, it's just an aberration." It's just that 1 year, but it's comfort in the system. It's having a synergistic relationship with your OC, with your quarterbacks coach. It's these guys being consistent with you being successful and helping you see things the way that they want you to see them, and then you helping them see things the way you see them so that you can come together. And that hasn't happened yet, and that's why we're having part of the problems. But there is one solution that should be used for that. You take the ball, you hike it, you turn to the right or you turn to the left, and you give it to that dog named Saquon Barkley. That fixes a lot of those problems. And I think Kellen Moore doesn't have a problem with doing that. I think Nick Sirianni wants to win with Jalen Hurts being this great quarterback and making all these throws because he's a highly paid guy and Nick's very sensitive to what people say. So that's why I don't want him in the offense, because I don't think he's looking at it and saying, we're just going to do what's best for the team. If Jalen Hurts is 18 for 18 for 200 yards and we win the game because we ran the ball for 200 yards between the three running backs that we have, we're happy. No, Nick wants it to be Jalen throwing the ball down the field all game. He's been like that since Nick Sirianni got here as the coach. So I think that's a big problem. And hopefully some of those things were able to be resolved because they were able to say, you know what? You got to go. Go sit in the corner, Nick. Go over there with Big Dom and let the dudes that know what they're really doing come out here and play. So that's what I think happened. Or should have happened in the bye week. Let's hope. It's probably just hope. He'll probably come out and do the same stupidity he always does. All right. Then we got the Thursday night football game, guys. Thursday night football. Interesting game. So I'm not even going to give anything about the game. I'm just going to let TJ go. We're going to go around and we're going to talk about the Thursday night football game. TJ, talk to him about Thursday night football. If you care to watch.
If it pretty much went the way I expected it to go. To be fully honest, I had it on, but I wasn't fully invested, just because we all knew how it was going to go. It stayed pretty, I'll say, mildly interesting for the most part, but then the 49ers just salted it away at the end, and it was over. Seattle, you just got to wonder, are they going to get over that hump? Because they're that team that just they came out swinging, they came out looking good. Then they had that that clunker against the Giants, and now or this week now, we're going toe to toe, and then in the blink of an eye, it was over. So I think the real question is, is Seattle going to stay kind of like a borderline playoff team, or are they actually going to make that jump where you can say, all right, they're a force to be reckoned with? I don't think we're seeing that this year anyway, but yeah, again, we all knew the 49ers were going to win.
Yeah, pretty much. Sid?
Yeah. First, I do want to say update on this game. Man, Doug Peterson might be gone after. He might be gone after this game. Look the way it's looking, but yeah, no. Back to that Thursday night game. I mean, man, DK Metcalf is one huge receiver. That dude is giant. I got this theory about the 49ers, man. Like, I guess Kyle Shanahan's just such a really good team builder. It doesn't matter who they plug in at what key position, that person's going to go off in that game. Like, they're going to highlight that individual and they're going to go off. They have, who is this guy? Gorindo?
Isaiah Guerrero.
Yeah, Isaiah Guerrero comes in, has like 800,000 yards on like 3 carries. Just looking perfect in the offense, to the fact where they're like, well, we don't even need Jordan Mason to come back. You know what I mean? Like, Christian McCaffrey came out early in the week and was like, a report, Christian McCaffrey may come back early November. Then, you know what? He might not even come back. We decided, what I'm saying? We just got this guy for $20.75 an hour, and he's going to run up and down the field on you guys. Doesn't matter who they plug in and play, quarterback, wide receiver, running back, tight end, linebacker, safety. Like, they seem to know what they're doing over there and how to play the players the way that they should be played. And they have like all these running backs just kind of look really similar when they come out. They've had running backs for like the past 3, 4, 5 years. But no, I guess it was just a game where like felt like the Seahawks were just as shocked as I was, because they didn't expect him to come out and run like that either. It was just, I watched it. I watched bits and pieces of it because it was on, but I don't know. It wasn't like it got kind of exciting towards the end. I felt like towards the end it did kind of maybe pick up a little bit, but it wasn't a must-watch game for me.
Travis Etienne, you stink.
Is he still in?
No, you stink. But DeAndre Swift, thank you.
He got a touchdown. Caleb
Thank
Williams
you.
got 4 touchdowns.
He
4.
does. But DeAndre Swift got a touchdown, and he has me 23 fantasy points right now.
Oof. Nice.
Ethan Carter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen's going on too. See, this Bears team, man, like,
And I said Keenan Allen because he ain't been doing nothing.
yeah, because
they've been doing nothing.
You probably don't want to play him again, right? You'll probably be chasing the game like this, like with Juwan Jennings, right? Cole Kmet over 24 points. Gosh, man, like.
But that's okay. I took Keenan Allen out for Wan'Dale Robinson. But technically not for Wan'Dale Robinson. Technically, I took him out for David Montgomery. So I'm not really mad. I'm not really mad.
I mean, yeah, that's 2 players I wouldn't even think about putting Keenan Allen over, maybe, right?
Yeah. So Wan'Dale Robinson is effectively the number 1 in New York right now. And they got to throw the ball to somebody against Cincinnati.
I feel like he's the most consistent receiver that you'd look for in fantasy. From Neighbors is a beast, otherworldly for sure, but
up and down, yeah.
Wan'Dale's been consistent since the beginning of the season.
Trevor Lawrence, our boy Bobby, he in the building. What up, Bobby?
Hey,
Trevor Lawrence sucks. We all know that. We've known that the media won't not allow it, and they will spin this somehow. But Trevor Lawrence right now sucks.
Yeah,
Coach, what you got for that Thursday night game?
Well, I was gonna say the same thing. Trevor Lawrence sucked to be a $50 million quarterback. So, yeah, he looked like he's stealing a little bit. He's stealing and need to be locked up for theft. So, other than that, yeah, for what I saw for Thursday night, I think we talked about this, Cool McCain, on the other show.
We did.
I'll elaborate it again. No, it proves like. Said no matter what running back, especially what running back comes in that system, it always seems the running back never seems to be actually a problem. But you do got to give some credit to that offensive line, the way they were pushing them guys up the field, the way they were blocking, opening up gaps, for both of those running backs to run. Brock Purdy made some throws. George Kittle got involved in the passing game. Deebo Samuel had over 100 yards and a touchdown. And yeah, George Kittle, had two touchdowns in this game. But it almost seemed like for Seattle, the Lions then broke them a little bit. They lost 3 straight. Their defense has not been good at all. Their defense has been just giving up points, yards. Geno Smith, after that first year, in Seattle, like he's regressing as games going on and on. 2 interceptions, and I didn't think the 49ers defense was a world beater, but I also thought them taking the ball away twice from Geno Smith did help as well, even though that ball clearly looked like it touched a Seattle Seahawk coming off that special teams play. It looked like it touched the Seattle Seahawk, but Seattle's defense, they got problems on the defensive side of the football. They can't stop the run. They can't stop nobody from passing on them. But you just got to give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit for the way he schemes up plays and the running backs for able to, when the running back goes, Jordan Mason goes down, you're like, oh, they're in trouble. But then Isaiah Guerrero comes in, has 10 carries, 99 yards. After Seattle scored, he goes right down first play, seals the game for a long run, gets to the red zone. So you got to give Kyle Shanahan a lot of credit. And that offensive line get a lot of credit too for the way they play and the way they blocked as well.
Yo. I'll just add to that by saying, hey, San Francisco was always going to shake up out of this slump. It was never going to be a consistent thing. Most of the good teams do. Hopefully, my team does too. We'll see. We got a good opportunity, but we'll see. All right, so let's get into these games, guys. We got a couple of games we're going to highlight, and then we're going to do the lightning picks for the rest. So we'll start with 1:00 p.m. on CBS. They tried to steal it. Fox tried to steal it. They tried to steal it for Sunday Night Football as well. And CBS was like, no. They gave him the Timmy Cumbo finger wave. We got the Washington Commanders, Baltimore Ravens. I need a minute to think about this one. I've said some things, but I need a minute. This is the last one. TJ, who you got? This is where everybody gonna judge me on.
I have the Commanders, just because number one, obviously I'm a Steelers fan, so I need Baltimore to lose. But also, Washington, I really do feel like their offense is legitimate, and this is going to be like a really, really true test for them going up against the Ravens. The Ravens are also, this is literally a coin toss game. Like you said, this is why they wanted to try and poach it for Sunday Night Football. So I think it's going to be a really good game. It's going to go down probably to the wire. I'm seeing maybe a little bit higher scoring, maybe like 28-24, 27-21, something like that. But I see the Commanders kind of setting it up for the rest of the NFL to take a look and say, hey, they are real.
I feel it. I definitely feel it. Say it. You got it.
Yeah, man. I probably will be trying to watch this game. This is gonna be a great game. I'm glad it didn't get pushed to Sunday night. Let's just get in and get it. Oh, fumble.
I won't be watching this game.
I'm gonna be watching this game, but so it's gonna be fun, man. It's high flying. I think we're gonna get a part 2 of Baltimore Cincinnati from last week. I hope we get that same Lamar. I know we're talking off camera. Cool, Derrick Henry, man. He is the piece that they need. He is like the Saquon Barkley to the Eagles. So I feel like they're starting to figure out how to groove along and use each other and play hand in hand, because that backup is looking good too. I mean, so Baltimore's third in the league in points in games. Washington's second in the league in points in games. We joke about Washington's defense. Baltimore allows a couple more points a game than Washington at 25.2 to Washington's 23 points allowed a game. So I think it's going to be some fireworks today. But I think Baltimore is going to pull it out, just having a bit more experience maybe behind center. We'll see, though.
Coach?
I'm going with Baltimore in this game, especially if they get the running game going. If they get the running game going between Lamar and Derrick Henry, I don't think the game will actually be close if they can get the running game, because the Commanders' defense is they're not world beaters. You can definitely pop them, score up on them. I think that will open back up the field for Lamar Jackson. And this will be Jaden. I like what Jaden Daniels is doing. I definitely do. But this is the one true test, he's got with this Baltimore defense. This Baltimore defense definitely flying all over the field. You got Kyle Hamilton, who's one of the best safeties in the game as of right now. Box safety also can cover. You also got Nate Higgins, their rookie corner, who's going to be a stud as well. And plus that defensive line with Matt and BK, them can get out to the quarterback and can stop the run. So the only way they're going to have to score points. I think the Commanders are going to have to score points to win this game. If Jaden Daniels, if he can find a way to not put the ball in harm's way and, just kind of manage the game a little bit, if they can find a running game, I think they got the receiving core to pop off for Washington and make this a game. But I'm gonna take Baltimore because of their defense and their ability to run the ball with Derrick Henry. If that gets going, it's gonna chew up the clock. They're gonna control time possession, and they may end up running away with this game. But this is Jaden Daniels' true test right here. This is his true test to show if he's a for real quarterback at this point.
Mm-hmm. Dang, Keenan Allen is going off.
I'm gonna go Ravens. I think a lot of what already been said is there. I think their running game is going to be able to kind of give it to Washington. That's going to make them have to come up and try to take that away. And once they do that, Lamar's shown us in the last couple of weeks, I'll throw it too. And I'll spread it around now, right? He's kind of made that progression I talk about with Hurts. And any mobile quarterback has to make that progression where, yeah, I'm a runner. I'm going to run the ball. If you give it to me, I'm going to run the ball. But when you take that away from me, oh, guess what? I'm gonna make you pay. When you try to stack the box, when you try to spy me, you take more people out of that defensive backfield. I'm gonna show you what I can do with my arm too, and my accuracy and my ability to read. And he's at that point now. I think we're seeing the best version of Lamar right now. The fumble, he had two fumbles. One he was able to pick up and make a great touchdown throw with. The other he lost. Could have cost him the game, but it didn't. So, I mean, I think he's just playing at a really good level. And Baltimore's defense is not as great as it's been in the past, right? We can all agree with that. But Commanders have some problems in the secondary. They've been able to mask a lot of their problems because they've been able to be a ball control offense, keep the other team's defense on the field, wear them down, and kind of do what basics logic in football is. They've been successful at it, but I think Baltimore can do it a little bit better right now. I think they're going to find a way to win this game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means. It'll be a close, exciting game. But I think Baltimore is going to be able to get the job done. All right. Lions and Cowboys. This is going to be a good game. I'm going to choose. They're coming off of their bye early. They didn't, obviously my fellow panelists don't agree with me, but that's okay. I don't think they really needed their bye now. I think it would have been better later. But at the same time, coming off your bye, most teams play really well, right? You get an extra week to prepare for that team. So you get to watch them play while they don't get to watch you play. You get to break down their film an extra week. You get to start preparing for them the week before, even though the team's not normally there. The coaching staff hopefully is there preparing the offensive and defensive scripts and getting things ready, as well as the other coaches. So that's why I think a lot of teams are so successful coming off their bye. And I think the Lions are going to be able to beat the Cowboys because the Cowboys barely beat a team that the quarterback just did not play up to par of that game. So they've had their lucky football god signed in on them win already. Coach Dante, who you got?
I got the Detroit Lions winning this game. I think it's going to be a close game. I think, just based on what you said, it's true. I mean, you got to wait to look at some extra film. Plus, the Cowboys did not play well against, Pittsburgh, who didn't play well themselves. I think Pittsburgh defense played a hell of a game, but I mean, you can't lose a game, and I'm gonna say this, and it's unacceptable for Pittsburgh. You can't lose a game when you force 5 turnovers. You just cannot lose that type of game when Dak Prescott throws 2 interceptions. The special teams gets a block kick, and then I think you had a fumble that they recovered as well. So you cannot lose a game if you're Pittsburgh like that, and your offense cannot. And then all of the turnovers you got on your end of the field basically, and you could not get the ball into the red zone. And then you also missed a fumble at the goal line. You also missed a fumble at the goal line as well. Missed a fumble at the goal line with a chance to seal the game. And the very next play, Dak Prescott's win the game on Jalen Tolbert, who the Cowboys just started playing because of injury. That cannot happen. And then another thing, you have Rico Dowdle finally running the football when the Cowboys could not win. I think that's really unacceptable for the Steelers for the Steelers to have that happen to them. You got to win a game when you force 5 on. You just can't lose a game like that. But other than that, I got the Lions. I got the Lions winning this game. I'm not so on the line. I think the Lions got problems on the defensive side, but also the Cowboys got problems on the offensive side. They got also problems on the offensive side. When you take CeeDee Lamb out of the game, they're not as good when you take him out the game. When you don't have his way, they don't have a running game. The running game just started getting off, unfortunately, against a very good Pittsburgh defense. But again, the Pittsburgh defense played well enough. They played very solid. It's just the problem is you got turnovers, and the offense did not convert that into the point. So, and I got the Lions coming off a bye week, extra game plan. Better weapons, and a very good running game. Very good 1-2 tandem with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think that will be enough to again control time of possession, because that's what I'm a big time of possession. If you possess the football and keep that Dallas offense off the field, they could win this game. So I'm going with the Detroit Lions.
Say it.
Yeah. I agree. I'm going with the Lions as well, just because, I got all the Lions players on my fantasy team, so they better go off. No. Nah, I definitely got their running back duo. As I said before, I think that's the best running back duo in the league right now. I love the way that they use their running backs. I think they use them exactly how you're supposed to use 2 stud running backs when you have them, and you use them, you know, as much as you can in the most advantageous ways to both of them that you can, because they really, well, I think they came out and what they say, Montgomery is saying they're like Sonic and Knuckles, you know what I mean? Where, you know, he's more Knuckles, Gibbs is more Sonic, but at the same time, like Sonic will still ram you, you know what I mean? And then Knuckles will still, you know, joke and get by you. So they can do a little bit of both, but they do a little bit of they do what they do really, really well. And then, you know, you got your receivers clicking in. Dallas has a couple of injuries. Both of them have a couple of injuries on the defensive side. But Dallas has a few defensive backs out, and a lot of linebackers out. But and yeah, I just don't have any faith in Dallas going up against a good team. You know, I think it was you said earlier, you know what I mean? When they play a good team, you know, when teams play a good team, they see how it goes down. And I think the Lions are a good team. I think they're a well-coached team, or at least they have they're synced right now, right? You know, I don't know how to feel about Jared Goff, but Jared Goff is, you know, he's serviceable for that team. He's what that team needs, I would say, with their mindset over there in Steel City. But I mean, I have faith in the Lions. I think they're coming out of the NFC, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm going Lions.
Fair enough. TJ, close us out on this one.
I'm going to go with the Lions as well. You know, they're coming off a bye week. They're fresh. And Dallas, you know, yeah, they got the win against my beloved Steelers, but that's because my beloved Steelers offense still sucks. Realistically, you go up against you go up against at least 22, 23 any other team in the NFL, except maybe about 8 to 10, and you're losing that game by 2 touchdowns. You know, they had a lot of turnovers. It was just messy play. They couldn't sustain drives, you know, so it should be a Lions win. It should probably be a double-digit point lead and win for the Lions in this game today.
Fair enough. So our last game that we're going to highlight is going to be a matchup that one of our panelists here is very intrigued and excited about. We are going to talk about the Chargers versus the Denver Broncos. So, Sid, this is your team. Would you like to go first, or would you like to go last?
I'll go first.
Set it off.
Yeah, like we were saying earlier, man, I guess, you know, Chargers, they got Herbert coming back. He's coming off injury. He hasn't looked right all season, right? Broncos are second in the league in points allowed a game, but the Chargers are first in the league in points allowed a game at 12.5. So it's going to be a low-scoring game. So if you guys are betting, I definitely take the under for sure today. But, I mean, I think it just comes down to momentum, too, and Broncos have the momentum right now, coming off a 3-game winning streak in which each game has been really exclusive in its own right, totally different from the game before it. So, who knows what Broncos team we're going to get, but I think we're going to see a lot of running from both sides of the ball today. And, you know, usually if you're running it good, it opens it up to air it out. So hopefully the Broncos can get that play action going, get Bo Nix going. And like I said earlier, I hope to see him looking, you know, like himself. I hope they allow him to be himself and take the reins off and just let him play without having to worry about, because he's proved that he can just go out there and play, and we're seeing it across the board with these other rookie quarterbacks starting to be able to just kind of do their thing, and you see why they were drafted where they were drafted and why they were said to be what they are. So hopefully Bo Nix can come out and show that. On the Chargers side, I mean, Ladd McConkey and Quinton Johnson are the top receivers, so I don't think Pat Surtain will be necessarily shadowing someone today. But I tell you, man, whoever he does, they're not catching the ball. They're not looking at the ball for sure. Between those guys, they don't have a number one receiver over there. They don't have a solid. And I mean, Ladd's a good slot receiver for sure. He's probably going to get his couple passes inside. But Izzy, though, our linebacker core is looking really good. So, I mean, I got the Broncos coming out of this one and going into a 4-game winning streak, which is impressive and something we didn't see coming. But, I mean, I'm here for it, and I'll take it. I'll take it.
All right, Coach, who you got?
Well, I'm going to go off the momentum that the Broncos had and pick the Broncos at home. I like their defense. I think Pat Surtain is the top two corner in the NFL. Done a very good, great cornerback. One of my favorite corners to watch, him and Jair Alexander. But other than that, also I'm gonna give all credit where credit due. I think that plus, no, they don't put too many points on the board, but that defense from the Broncos, has been really legit, especially what they did last week. It also helps because Gardner Minshew and the Raiders stunk up the joint last weekend by throwing a 99-yard pick six. And then, like I say, people claim that they play for Antonio Pierce. Well, they didn't play for him last weekend. They got ran up off the football field. So that's a question you could be asked. They didn't play for him last week. So, man, any questions you got going on with the Las Vegas Raiders, you got your questions because the team look like they kind of checked out. The locker room look like they kind of checked out. Yes, Devontae Adams is going to stay there, but he's still not going to. That doesn't mean he's going to be happy. But other than that, Broncos playing some hell of a football, and Bo Nix can not turn the ball over, not hurt the team with turnovers, and just manage the game. I think the Broncos will be fine. I think their defense is good enough to get them by. And the Chargers coming off 2 straight losses. Justin Herbert is hurt. If the Broncos can get pressure on them and just force Justin Herbert in the turnovers, the Broncos could win this game. So I'm taking the Broncos at home to win this game. I think it's going to be a close game, but I got the Broncos winning.
All right, TJ.
I have the Chargers beating the Broncos just because I like to see Seth cry. No, just playing. Actually, you know what? It is actually because I do have confidence in Denver. And every time I finally accept that a team is really that good and I pick them, they lose. So I'm going to go the reverse mantra there. But I mean, it's to me, it's a coin toss game. It really is. It's going to probably be a closer game. You know, honestly, if one team scores 20 points or more, that's probably be enough to win it. You know, just how's Justin Herbert after the bye week? You know, how you know, is the Denver Broncos offense going to continue to, you know, develop and open up a little bit more, or are they going to have, you know, one of their off weeks that we've seen once or twice this season as well? You know, but close game, but I'm going Chargers.
I'm going to agree with TJ, but I will say I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos do win this game, because I do think it will be close. I think it will come down to who has the ball last with an opportunity to win. I think the Chargers are going to do a better job of managing the clock, running the ball, and trying to control time of possession. I think that's going to be where they get their edge. And of course, as I said earlier, coming off the bye is very important because it gives you extra time to prepare for a team. But I will say I expect a close game, and I wouldn't be surprised if I'm wrong. But just based off my own normal logic, I'm going to pick the Chargers. So, and that's not even a shot to say it. I think they're hanging there.
I don't care. Chargers going to charge. So we'll see.
And they haven't been charging as much with
They're like the Raiders 2.0.
They haven't been charged as much with Herbert in the game with Harbaugh. He's been hurt, so that's been an issue. But when he's been playing, they've been fairly decent. All right, so let's run through these games, guys. We're kind of almost over our time anyway because me and everybody doesn't talk too much today. But hey, it is what it is. All right, we got 1 p.m. Eastern on Fox. The Cardinals at the Packers. We'll just go around. I'll start Packers. I got the Packers beating the Cardinals.
I got Packers as well.
Yeah, TJ, that works. All right, Sid.
Cardinals.
All right, Coach.
I got Packers. I got Packers winning this game.
All right. Then we have the Texans at the Patriots. I think Texans may have a chance to win this one. What do you guys think?
Texans as well.
Slight chance, right?
Yeah, just a little bit. Little favor.
Drake May starting. That might be.
Yep.
That might be the X factor, right? Nah, I'm gonna go Texans.
I'm gonna go my Texans, but I think this could be a trap game for us in New England. I think it could be a trap game. I'm not underestimating, but Texans should be good enough to. Joe Mixon coming back should be good enough to win without Nico Collins. You'll have a way better roster than the Patriots, but this is a trap game. I'm gonna say this is a trap game.
Unless Stephon diddling fools in the locker room, you never know.
He don't want those people in the locker room. He doesn't like his colleagues.
Yeah. Oh man.
Bobby says, just a fun fact for y'all. At left tackle, right guard, and center, the Patriots are the worst in the league. I feel bad for Drake today. Drake London shouldn't be starting. This is not Drake London. Drake May should not be starting. This is the team caving to the pressure from the fans. And the fans, you might get this young man hurt. It's your foolishness. I'm just gonna
So
say
should
that.
we start? Should we start the Texans defense then? Is that what you guys are saying?
If you have the Texas defense, you should start them every week.
True.
I mean, this is about you.
Defense is legit. Our defensive line got the most pressures in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll hit it.
Got the 3-2 Buccaneers at the 2-3 Saints. I'm gonna go Bucks. Saints are fading.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go Bucks.
I'm gonna go with the Buccaneers as well. Saints are kind of starting to flatline after a strong start.
That's it.
Yeah. Same thing. I'm gonna go Buccaneers. I feel like I said, Dennis Allen's on the hot seat.
Coach.
I'm gonna go Buccaneers. The Saints stink.
Fair enough. All right, and we've already talked about this game. We got the 1-4 Browns, the 2-2 Eagles. The Eagles better win this game.
Yeah, Eagles have to win. You can't lose this game.
Come on, man. We can't lose this game. Good gosh.
Dang, if the Eagles lose, do they fire Sirianni or what?
Maybe.
Because that's pretty big, right? You can't lose. This is a must win, right? Not like in a sense of must win for your season, but in the sense of who the opponent is. I mean,
Sirianni. They love that guy.
Didn't the Raiders beat the Browns?
Everybody's beat the Browns but one team. And do we remember who the team was who beat the Browns? Who the Browns beat?
Who was it? The Panthers? Who beat the Browns? I don't know.
No, who the Browns beat?
I don't follow the Browns.
Coach. Read that, Coach.
Well, a message for the Eagles again. If you think, look at this. 6, 7, and 8.
Oh.
Again, if you can't get pressure on a sacked up Deshaun Watson in this offensive line, it's a problem. It's got to be a problem in Philadelphia. 6, 7, and 8. That's the sacks that the New York Giants, the Cowboys, and the Commanders had. The Commanders had 8 sacks. 8 sacks. Mari Cooper is already in trade rumors. It look like he's checked out already.
Bless him.
Big Chubb has been out, so they don't have that much of a running game. There's no reason for this Eagles team to have Deshaun Watson sit back in the pocket and have a free day and a field day just about on the Philadelphia. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. You can't miss tackles. You cannot miss tackles. Somebody's got to set the tone. Somebody's got to set the tone. And this is a game coming off a bye week. You got to win this game if you're the Eagles. Nick Sirianni may not get fired, but a water boy or a towel boy better be fired. Somebody's got to.
Equipment manager.
He's thinking about firing somebody else.
So I'm taking the Eagles to win this game. They better, like Cooper can't say it, they better win this game. 6, 7, and 8.
Oh man, they're fire the janitor.
You got to get to the quarterback. You got to get Deshaun Watson. He this close from going on the bench. He this close. There's no reason for you to say this man's season. No reason for that.
Colts at Titans. I'm going. If Will Levis is playing, I'm gonna go Colts. I have no trust in Will Levis. I'm gonna go Colts.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I feel the same way. If Rudolph plays, I'm going Titans. But if he doesn't, then it's got to be the Colts. Then.
Yeah, I have more trust in Anthony Richardson than I do.
Anthony Richardson's out. It's
I'm just saying. I have more trust in Anthony Richardson than I do Will Levis. And if you've heard me, you know I don't have too much trust in Anthony Richardson. I have more in him than I do Will Levis.
And worst case, if he gets hurt, you have Joe Flacco come in and just light it up. So
it is Flacco today. So Joe Flacco versus Will Levis. So I'm gonna go Colts as well. But I could see the Titans pulling it out with that running game.
Turnovers.
I'm gonna I'm gonna go Titans only because of Michael Pittman is out and Jonathan Taylor is out. So that's the only
I
reason I'm
forgot.
gonna go Titans right there. I will go Colts if they were
Ooh,
here.
that's right. I'm
Yeah.
glad you said that. Shoot.
Yeah.
It's not one yet. Gotta make a switch on my lineup.
I
Yes.
forgot about Taylor. Trey Sermon was serviceable last week in place, and I mean Joe Flacco starting too.
Yeah.
Another bad decision by the Eagles personnel department. Trey Sermon's not an Eagle. 3-2 Steelers, 2-3 Raiders. I'll make it real simple. Steelers get right this week. The Raiders train wreck.
Dang.
I'm going to go with my Steelers. They on paper they have to win, but like we were talking a little bit earlier, the Raiders lately in past years have seemed to be their bugaboo, so it could be an upset win. But I'm going to go with Steelers.
I just want them both to lose. So is there a way for both of them to get negative points?
You got to pick one.
Oh man, I'm gonna go Steelers just because I think I got Justin Fields playing somewhere.
I just dropped him.
That's good.
Harsh.
Well, he was my fourth quarterback, so
yeah.
I was just protecting myself because I have a lot of injuries every year, but I have 3 healthy quarterbacks, and one of them has already had a bye, so he can play every week. So,
yeah. All right, smart decision.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Steelers. It's not must win for the season, but they need this win, especially the way you lost last weekend. You do need to go take some frustration out on a team that's almost checked out. That's pretty much this close, like Deshaun Watson from checking out on the head coach. And if your team check out on the head coach, then that's a sign the head coach needs to be gone up out of there at this point. Devontae Adams, I don't know if he is playing or not. May not be. Look like he's done with the Raiders. We already know that. Raiders don't have no running game at all. Just like the Cowboys. Before the Cowboys ran over the Steelers, they have no running game. They can't get any running game going. I don't think Aiden O'Connell is better than Gardner Minshew, but I don't think he should make a difference in this game. That's the only thing that I didn't like about the Steelers, the way they let Rico Dowd run the ball. But if you force turnovers, that offense have to find a way to turn it into points, and you got to start giving Najee Harris some more carries to keep keep the flow of the game going, just to control time of possession. I feel like those 5 turnovers that they committed, the offense just didn't turn them into points. You cannot lose a game like that to the Las Vegas Raiders. So I feel like this is a game that the Steelers can get back on track. This is a perfect timing of playing the Las Vegas Raiders, especially with the state they're in right now. This is a perfect timing for the Pittsburgh Steelers to be playing them at this time right now.
All right, 3 more games to pick, y'all.
Yes.
3-2 Falcons, 1-4 Panthers. If you play against the Panthers, I'm choosing you. I don't care who you are in the league. Falcons. That's my rule.
Same logic. Falcons.
Man, Chubba Hubbard's been going off over there for the Panthers.
And they still lose.
They still lose. They fell back down to earth. Andy Dalton had those 2 good weeks, and then they fell back down. Yeah, I mean, Atlanta. I'm going to Atlanta for sure. Kirk Cochains.
This is a perfect week for you to get your stats up if you're playing the Carolina Panthers. If you're playing that defense, it's a perfect way to get Kyle Pitts involved. Perfect way to get your running involved. This is like a bye week when you're playing the Carolina Panthers.
I would have picked up Tyler Algier and put him in.
I thought about it
because they're playing the Panthers.
This is like a bye week. This is like a bye week for the Atlanta Falcons. And practice, you just practice on what you need to work on. That's all. It's just like a bye week. So yeah, I'm choosing the Falcons. Yeah.
We got the 1-4 Bengals on Sunday Night Football. This is why they wanted to get that Commanders game, because they got the 1-4 Bengals against the 2-3 Giants. If I was NBC, I'd be trying to get another game too. I would have been trying to get the Lions and the Cowboys. I'd have been trying to get the Eagles and the Browns over there. I'd have been trying to get the Chargers and the Browns. Plenty of games. But this is what they got stuck with because you went after the wrong thing. You got greedy. Bengals have to win this game. That's all I can say. Bengals have to win this game.
Bengals have to win this game, and the Giants are not that good of a team. They should look like the old school Bengals just based off that.
Yeah, the Bengals are too good to have that bad of a record. I'm I guess their defense isn't that good. Maybe I don't know why they suck. Yeah. Eminem versus Danny Dimes, though. I mean, I got Wandale starting somewhere. Singletary's out, so Tracy went off last week, so we'll see how he does in that running game. The Bengals have a solid running game too, so but they're dependent more on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase had like almost 200 yards last week. T. Higgins had almost 100
T.
yards.
Higgins appeared. My
Yeah,
fantasy
that's what
team
I'm
was
saying.
rejoicing.
With two touchdowns. So I'm gonna go Bengals just because, like, really, are we even? I almost got fooled once by the Giants, man, thinking they were a good team. Like, oh yeah, the Giants gonna look good. Nah, I'm gonna go Bengals. They're gonna get right. They need to get right, and if they don't, then I mean, can they get right if they don't? Right. So yeah, I'm going Bengals.
I'm going to go Bengals just based on I think what determine this game tonight is the quarterback play. Having Joe Burrow is by far better than Daniel Jones. Who else? Daniel Jones again, another person that should be thrown and locked up for stealing. So yeah, I will go based on that. And Jamar Chase getting off last weekend and T. Higgins getting off, even though they still lost because the defense couldn't stop nobody last weekend. So yeah, I'm gonna just go to the Bengals, go for the Bengals. Take the Bengals.
All right, and then our final game, Monday Night Football. You probably could have flexed this too, but the 3-2 Bills at the 2-3 Jets. I'm just gonna go Jets based off the strength of new philosophy on offense and defense with the head coach being let go. So we should see some things that the other team's not prepared for. Hopefully, it's a lot of running. Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Mushroom Man yourself, you take them mushrooms and rub them all over your arm and shoulder before the game because you need to see more. So I'll go Jets.
I'm going to go Bills just because they need this win. I don't like Aaron Rodgers, and I don't like how the Jets did Robert Saleh dirty. They deserve to lose because of that.
Throughout the rest of the season, you'll be right.
I feel like this one could be a toss-up. It could go either way because, I mean, the Jets do have a really good defense, and the Bills don't have any receivers. I mean, they got people out there. They got people out there on the field and stuff, running routes and stuff, but they don't have any receivers. And their running game, I mean, it's unpredictable, but it's not as strong as it looks. So I don't know, man. I feel like the Jets could pull it off, but also the Jets have a very stagnant offense for some reason. So if they're able to get Garrett Wilson going, if they're able to get Breece Hall going, and I don't know what they're doing with Braylon now. I guess, like Coach was saying earlier, there's something wrong with Breece Hall or something after his injury. But I don't even know why they're trying to involve Braylon Allen unless they see that there's something wrong with Breece Hall and they're trying to make sure they have a backup plan. Because it's the same thing like with Atlanta. Like, why are you not using your top 3 running back in the league as much as you can when you have this 55, 95-year-old quarterback back there that can't even turn his head? I know Aaron Rodgers' age is not a very fun age, you know what I mean? Like, you should be using that running game to the fullest, but the way that they're using it, incorporating Braden Allen, I feel like it's just throwing off the groove, and Breece Hall doesn't have a chance to get really a rhythm going. So, but if they're able to get that running game going today, I think that'll give them an advantage over the Bills. I just don't think they'll be able to, so I'll go with the Bills.
Man, I'm gonna go with the Jets. They need to win this game, but as one part of me saying I want to go with the Bills because after what happened last week and Stephon is getting his revenge on them, and them keeping Josh Allen in the game when he clearly had a concussion. I don't know if he's playing. If Josh Allen playing, I may pick the Bills because the Bills have a little bit better of a running game. But one problem, and said the problem, their receivers can't get open. Their receivers cannot separate in coverage at all. Then you look at the New York Jets, they don't have a running game. Their running game has not been very good, and their running game should be better than the Bills, but James Cook is better than both right now, Breece Hall and Braylon Allen. I like Braylon Allen. I think he's a very good back. But again, you keep trying not Alan Lazard out there who's continue to drop the football. You got Aaron Rodgers out there in a walking cane. Nobody can keep Jets offensive line can't keep them away from Aaron Rodgers. So again, this game is a toss up. This game is going to be close. I think it will. If Josh Allen play, you would think the Bills could win, but based on the quarterback situation. But I'm going to go on a limb and go with the Jets. They're at home. If they can get a running game going, and I have no doubt this defense will be good tonight. And their secondary will probably lock up that Bills receiving core, because that Bills receiving core without Khalil Shakur as well, even with them, they're not as good. So I'm gonna go with the Jets, but not by much. But they got to get some stability in the run game if they want to continue to control the possession and control the game. They got to start running the football, and that offensive line has to be better in blocking.
Quick heads up, Michael Pittman Jr. owners, he is playing today through the back injury. Don't know how successful he will be, but again, he will be playing. So if you're riding on him, if he's one of your ride or die guys, he's playing. Want to throw that out there since I saw that. Peak One Sports says, great show, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate you watching. Hopefully you're liking and sharing and subscribing. You know that? Sports Wave, Shady Sports. Coming together to bring y'all this wonderful sports program. NFL pregame report. Another Sunday in the books. You heard the picks. We'll probably be wrong for a lot of them. At least I will, but it's okay. If I was worried about being wrong, I find something else to do. Y'all have a great week. Make sure you come back next week. As I always say, man, make sure you tell the people you think are your friends and 4 people who may not like you, so they can come on over and check us out as well. Or make sure you check us out on all the platforms, on Twitter, on Shady Sports Twitter, on both YouTube channels, Sports Wave Network and Shady Sports Network, as well as anywhere else that you can find or see any of our wonderful faces. We will be back next week. We'll holler at y'all, and we out.